the bottom left-hand side, opening their season, the red Protoss player is going to be MacSed. Takes on the blue Protoss in the top right corner of the map. This is Firefly. Now, PvP, of course, can be all sorts of things, and already you're going to see at least that they're both going to stay on the high ground initially. No one's going to try the super fast low ground gateway expand like MaxPax might. I say MaxPax, honestly, Australia's done it just as much lately as well, I feel like, but yeah, not expecting anything there, as we just see ourselves probably the 2 gateways and then playing out from that position onwards, as we just have ourselves the first probe heading to the bottom left-hand side. So the scout of Firefly already moving across to the bottom, and then the MacSed setup just coming through as a couple of assimilators get started. Wait to see where we take this again. Expecting the second gateways, expecting that Cybercore to start up as soon as gateway number 1 completes. A very standard start of this game. But that leads us into so much possibility, because then you can stay one base and you can be aggressive on one base. Then you can expand and try, you know, get an expansion off of a little bit of tech as well, perhaps. So a lot of possibilities as our Cybercore is on the way through. Again, gateway on both sides of the map. The probe continues to nibble on the other probe. We just have ourselves the Cybercore continue to come on in. Pylon will build from both players here. The probes continue up. We just look to see what is going to happen as this probe of Firefly comes back over to the corner. Moving around once again. Going to loop back around the mineral line. And wait to see what exactly will come of the build orders. We actually see 2 Adepts versus 2 Stalkers, so already Firefly will have a little bit more gas banked up. He might be able to go into a faster Stargate, for example, with that. Obviously, MacSed, the Stalkers are better kind of immediate fighting units. And that's kind of one of the things that just sort of happens here and amongst the PvP, where, you know, there's a lot of, like I say, a lot of different ways to open, and even the first units can sort of decide a lot of what can happen. There's a Stargate from Firefly. Again, the 2 Adepts cost less gas, so it's typical to see the faster tech coming in from Firefly then, and usually that is just a Stargate, and obviously like a good amount of Adepts plus Oracles can be a scary combination. It's going to be a Stargate as well from MacSed. Obviously no anti-air currently from Firefly, something for him to worry about further down the line. As a couple of Stalkers come out to the low ground. As a couple of Adepts will just shade their way to the bottom left. Stalker's going to go after Adept number 1 over that far left-hand side. Stargate coming through, Nexus is building. Adept gets here to pick off the probe, and the couple Stalkers still make their way over there to chase down the Adept as well. And that Adept is going to take a few more shots of damage. Another Adept coming out and across as well. Stargate still building on both sides of the map. The Oracle's about to finish up as well. So a lot of things just about ready to kick off. With the Adept's positioning from Firefly, his first Oracle going to start moving over. This is where this game might have its first point of interest, as the Nexus is coming through on both sides, but that doesn't mean that damage can't be done. The Adept's actually going to shade up and obviously can't get in, but they can put some damage on that building structure. And even try and maybe just tempt the Stalkers over to deal with them so that the Oracle can have free reign into the mineral line. We're going to commit through. The 2 Stalkers should mean the Oracle doesn't get much. 2 probes. And then it's already taken shield damage, so we back away. We're about to kill the battery low ground with the Adepts. Actually finished the pylon in the walls, so now the 2 Stalkers on either natural and main are both separated from one another, cannot go join up. However, MacSed is also going to have his own Oracle about to make a play into this base, so is going to come straight through. Heading into the main mineral line. There's a battery in preparation, so we can try a stasis ward. Firefly is on top of it. Pulls the probes away. 1 probe gets caught. Ah, cheeky. 2nd probe gets caught. It's always funny, the stasis splash area is kind of larger than the actual stasis area, so a little bit difference there, and that's just why that extra probe gets caught despite not being in the circle. Not the biggest of deals though, 1 probe getting caught. Just the fact it was a stasis anyway was a win from Firefly. Unless he got his entire... Whoa, sorry, I just missed these Oracles flying through for a bunch of damage. I'm just talking about Firefly saying, you know, now he's obviously going to be able to say, okay, that's a win for me. The Oracles didn't do much. Well, his own Oracles absolutely pop off. They fly through and find a bunch of probes. So they are able to do very, very well for themselves as probes continue up on both sides of the map, and the Twilight Council of Firefly starts in sync with that of MacSed. So they're both going to continue their tech switch At pretty much the same time, the Firefly has a pretty serious 8-worker advantage, and he has a Phoenix to chase these Oracles as well. Do they know about the Phoenix? If not, that's going to be too late to recall and save Oracle number 1, so that's 1 dead Oracle as well. And you spent the recall, so that's energy spent also. Everything is going Firefly's way, especially that 8-worker advantage he's able to keep a hold of right now. Unless these Stalkers do well, and the only reason he's doing very well right now is that the Stalkers of Firefly were a bit further back. So 1 Stalker went down for free. I honestly think with the Phoenix lifting, you would have been able to fight that no problem if you had to as Firefly, but obviously not really much need to. It's just a little out of position. Wasn't expecting MacSed to be so far forward with his army at first. So that's something that gets caught a little bit. Again, gateways coming through from Firefly, probes building, pylon, the assimilator coming by. Stalkers and the Blink continue up on the side of MacSed as we are going to dive in. The Oracles are going to go for a whole bunch of these probes. Using the Phoenix to lift up a Stalker means that there wasn't as much anti-air there, so you can obviously just sit longer with the Oracles, and now it's a 14-worker lead. Does MacSed just have to send it with Blink and just try to all in, or is there some way to macro back out of this? I think at the very least he has to be the aggressor with Blink. Maybe not all in, but you have to be the one trying to make something happen, because if not, all of this probe damage isn't exactly going to lead you to kind of, you know, a beautiful position. And MacSed is moving forward even well before his Blink. Firefly trying to take a third. Well, that's a little bit too soon considering MacSed does have the army lead. That's the one thing that Firefly doesn't have. He hasn't quite turned that eco advantage into an army advantage just yet. Should stand this Phoenix. He's kind of spread out as well, I guess. Afraid of this Oracle maybe coming in, but as he gathers up and a few more warpings happen, you can see the army supplies are closing in on each other, while Firefly is still maintaining an 8-worker advantage. So, again, the income lead is just severe, quite frankly. Firefly has been up a whole bunch. We see the Nexus going down on the 3rd base. Phoenix coming over. Oracle is going to be taking a couple of shots. And the Oracle continues down to the bottom right side. His Blink will finish on both sides as well. 3rd Nexuses will begin. Couple of pylons, some probes all coming out. Our Stalker's going to fire up at each other. One Stalker able to blink back and not get too much damage on itself. Oh, we blink and chase, as MacSed. Well, I don't think he has the numbers to really justify that. Love the Phoenix, going to guarantee a kill on that Stalker eventually, because it can't blink back in the skies, believe it or not. So that will go down, and yeah, Firefly just taking more and more of an edge here. Just continue to put himself in better and better shape as he continues through, and this Stalker battle is absolutely going his way. Firefly puts himself in an amazing spot here in game number 1. Again, still maintaining the worker lead, still maintaining now the army lead. He's going to start upgrades sooner. And we're getting to the point where MacSed just might not be able to do anything about anything here, right? You know, this 3rd base might just have to be given up, which obviously puts him even further behind. And some games, you just gotta look to the GGs. He doesn't have any of the magic comeback units on the way. He doesn't have DTs built or Disruptor on the way out or anything like that. So none of that available right now. That is GG's, and Firefly takes game 1 here over MacSed with just a very solid opening. Everything went very well for him. He really did things correctly. You know, the process was good for him in the early stages, and game 1 goes the way of MacSed. Of Firefly, sorry, and Firefly. I want to start looking at the next map here in a couple of moments. I was kind of surprised when I looked up the stats of these guys, and I don't know why. I guess because in my head, MacSed was... He's always been an old-timer, one of the longest-playing StarCraft 2 players we have. I guess I shouldn't be surprised that Firefly has been that favored against him in recent matches. Firefly's been an absolute beast and improving, whereas MacSed's been falling off. I just felt like Firefly 15-9 caught me off guard, but I guess it's been a few years now where MacSed has still been there, but not like improving at the rate Firefly has been. So there's been time for Firefly to really make up for what probably was a streak of losses to MacSed when he first came onto the scene and he wasn't quite at his full strength, and MacSed was a bit better. So yeah, that was a little interesting one. Firefly shown here just a little bit in very similar situation. Firefly just gets more altogether, and the real defining part was the 2 Oracles getting those 8 extra probes. That's what really put Firefly ahead, and then from there he made sure not to let MacSed back in the game. Didn't give MacSed an opportunity to take advantage or anything along those lines. As we're going to have ourselves game numero 2, game number 2 in just a moment. Do you guys think ESL referee F will add my friend? Add me as a friend, so I can just join the game more easily. Oh, he will. What a life. What a life. Alright. Just save him an extra moment or two of inviting and so on. Just make his life a little bit easier as we get ready for game number 2 of our best of 3. MacSed down a map over Firefly as we are going to have both players readied up. And JLHF is called. We will start up this game. There we go. There was just a moment of delay. I think he was just double checking everything, making sure the players' names were set right and the logo file was set up correctly. There's a few things to do as an admin when it comes into an event like this, because you got all the fancy logos on the map and stuff. So you got to make sure all of that's set up actually in the lobby. It's kind of interesting how it works. You get like a little drop-down menu, and you basically pick the player's name and put it next to their name. Obviously, you got to check the colors are right as well. So with that said, let's dive into game number 2. In the top left-hand corner, taking that first game from SSLT. Is that true? Is Firefly still on SSLT? I thought he left to the Platinum Heroes. Or am I out of touch with the world? If he is on the Platinum Heroes, it is Firefly in the top left. As in the bottom right, our red Protoss player is MacSed from Invictus Gaming. He's been on Invictus Gaming for an eternity. Just going to inform our head admin about what I think is an incorrect team on there. As we now set ourselves up into game number 2. First probe of Firefly going to wander down to the bottom right-hand side of the map, so it's going to journey off to the bottom here. Get set up in the early moments. And it is going to be, again, no ramp on this map, so we are just going to have ourselves a couple of gateways, high ground, and then looking to set up from there in general. So I guess getting that readied. Cybercore drops down. Second gateway coming through. Our probe's coming up. Just gonna have ourselves a probe coming around the back of the probe, coming in to nibble a little bit as well. Just have ourselves damage being dealt. Cybercore coming in. We get this ready to roll for a few moments. So that Cybercore's about to finish up. Probes continue to move around a little. And we got a couple Stalkers coming on both sides of the map. Hope gate is coming out here. Has to take a few moments of our time to really get this established. Obviously, no Adepts this time from Firefly, so he himself is going to go for the Stalkers. So it's going to be Stalkers on Stalkers this time around. Set up for this as we drop our battery into play. The Warp Gate coming in on both sides. Stalkers obviously getting produced through. And this probe of MacSed comes out over on the far right. Finally going to start knocking down the scouting probes, and actually with 2 more Stalkers popping, we'll have a little bit more army here from Firefly, while we will see the tech from MacSed. And a little bit more army obviously could mean aggression. And with the Robo going down, very possible we see a 3rd gateway in just like a Warp Prism 3 gate or something to that, something to that effect. Definitely could be the way we approach things here, and there is the 3rd gateway going down. So it is going to be Firefly to bring the power against someone who's going Stargate. So not necessarily immediately if you don't build a Void Ray, and obviously most players are going to build an Oracle here. The Oracle doesn't help you out too much defensively at first, so this has got potential from Firefly to do a lot of damage against someone who's just expanding quickly. Let's see what exactly it will be. As Firefly, even with the first 4 Stalkers, is going to try and find a little bit of damage, a few shots on this. Even if you just start draining some battery energy, right, that's very good, because less battery energy means less, shields you have to kind of go through eventually when the larger fight comes around. Now the battery's completely drained. Now these Stalkers don't have any healing. The warp-in is not going to be here in time. I think take a moment to knock down this probe, and I almost feel like walking up the ramp and getting shots on the Stalkers warping in might have been nice, but then I think you're a bit too committed and it's hard to get away. Obviously, when this Nexus completes, Super Battery can be used, but not if this battery then goes down. That's going to make breaking the natural extremely simple. Yeah, we're just going to finish that off. Now we're going to keep chasing. There is a Prism on the way, but it's not here yet. It's just not being needed so far. As our Stalkers chased all the way up into the main base, the Pylon will take a few more shots of damage. So Pylon goes down, a couple more Stalkers warp in, the Oracle coming through, and our probes are going to continue to transfer down to the low ground. Another Pylon gets in place. Obviously no warp-ins right now, though, from MacSed. Not going to do him any favors. He's going to pull the probes, which is a necessity. And it feels like he's slowly pushing this back. But the moment the Prism gets here, the warp-ins are going to be more effective. The micro from the Prism is going to be a huge part of this as well. And all the while, we've got 2 Oracles of MacSed that are yet to really do anything. And it does feel as though Firefly is setting up to come in with full force into this natural. And obviously chase through to the main as well. I mean, there's just no units here. The double Oracle still yet to really have impact on the other side of the map. We are now killing probes. We're going to be able to re-kill the Pylon power in the gateways. And with Prism Micro, this should be an army that never gets shut down. As our Stalkers continue micro, we go up, we go down. The probe's still pulling. We stop to warp in for a moment. Here's the double Oracle, which to be fair is not going to be stopped. We're going to kill a lot of probes, as Max said, just taking way too long to do that. Obviously, he's lost so many probes of himself, of his own already. Firefly kind of ran away. MacSed is target firing and chasing correctly. Is there a bit of hope? Maybe, possibly, as those Oracles do get rid of almost every worker here from Firefly. Both players have barely any workers left. Then the issue is that Firefly's army is just that much better. Force field's cute, but obviously when you've got the Prism, you can go over or back over the force fields. He's actually going to go over in towards the Void Ray, which is scary. But without a battery here, this Void Ray is not invincible, and without probes to tank, the Stalker count really is just too high, and it is going to be Firefly to have a little bit too much and be able to knock this down. GG's, and Firefly is going to take game number 2.